Ang legal counsel ng Presidente Rodrigo Duterte noong Miyerkules kahapon niyan ay paumanhin. He apologized to Vice President Robredo sa claim niya na si Madam Vice Presidente ay nag-free riding on the government's relief effort for survivors of Typhoon Ulysses. Presidential Chief Legal Counsel Salvador Panelo told ANC that he got the wrong information that Robredo used a government C-130 plane to deliver relief aid to typhoon-hit Catanduanes from a series of text messages between two other officials. Sumabay ka doon sa mga relief goods o di parang ikaw ang may dala nun, he earlier alleged in his talk show aired on state-owned People's Television Network. Immediately after learning his mistake, Panelo said he went on separate radio show and immediately expressed my apology to her for expressing an opinion relative to an information which happened to be inaccurate. Nako, inaccurate pala sir eh. Panelo said he also sent a text message to Robredo to say sorry. Robredo earlier on Wednesday said she never used a C-130 plane of the government. Ang dami naming ginagawa sa opisina na hindi naman ako sa kanila humihingi ng tulong, she said in a chance interview. Ang mga sunod-sunod na nangyayari nagpapakita na yung peddlers of fake news nasa paligid mismo ni Presidente. Kaya sa akin, iyong pakiusap ko lang, ang dami ng peddlers of fake news sa atin, huwag na nilang dagdagan. Dagdag ng Vice Presidente. However, Panelo said he was not apologizing for disturbing or peddling a false info. He added that he was not apologizing for criticizing her demeanor, that every time she goes out distributing relief goods and castigating the government for not doing anything. Pressed to give a direct quote of Robredo criticizing the government for inaction in the typhoon, Panelo said, I don't remember all exact words. All you have to do is go back to her first statement and tweets. Robredo said on Wednesday, sinabi ng Vice Presidente kahapon, she never asked where the president was when social media users hit his absence from public eye during the onslaught of typhoons Rolly and Ulysses. Ang sabi ng Vice Presidente, bringing relief to typhoon survivors was also hindi po contest, hindi po paligsahan ang sabi ng Vice Presidente doon sa pagbibigay ng relief goods sa mga survivors. Yan po ang kabuuan nitong paghingi ng paumanhin ni Legal Counsel Panelo doon kay Vice Presidente doon sa nabitawan niyang salita na nag-free riding itong Vice Presidente doon sa pagbigay ng relief goods sa mga survivors ng Typhoon Rolly at nakigamit umano ito ng C-130 na kung saan ang sabi naman pinabubulaanan ito ni Vice Presidente na hindi siya gumamit ng C-130 ng government para mamigay ng relief goods. So yan ang lesson learned ngayon. Hindi tayo basta-basta magbitaw ng mga salita or mga statements, especially kung wala naman tayong pruweba. Kasi public figures yan sila, mga politiko at anuman ang sasabihin mo, at talagang tatatak yan sa isip ng mga nakabasa at nakarinig. At syempre, nandun kaagad yung bashing. Umabot ang statement mo kay Presidente Rodrigo Duterte. So, ang nangyari ngayon, peddlers ka. Ang sabi ni Vice Presidente, sa mata ng iba, syempre peddlers ka. Pero sa sabi ng Vice Presidente, wag naman ang ganun. Diba? So, and sometimes, sabihin natin, hindi enough yung sorry kasi nasira mo naman kasi yung pangalan ng Vice Presidente. Pero tignan natin kung ano mangyayari in the coming days, kung ano ang magiging kahihinatnan nitong pag-sorry ni Mr. Panelo sa kay Vice Presidente at ano ang action na gagawin ng Presidente hinggil dito.
Where did you get the info about the VP bringing aid to Catanduanes on board a C-130, Secretary?
Yes, I got that information from an exchange of text messages between former BCBA President Arnel Casanova and Secretary Delphine Lorenzana. That was forwarded to me. So when I was reading the exchange, and then it came to that portion where Secretary Delphine Lorenzana was telling Mr. Casanova that she went to Catanduanes riding in an aircraft C-130, and so that's why I made an adverse comment on that. And after that, when the camp of BP Lenny issued a statement regarding the falsity of that information, I immediately checked with Secretary Delphine Lorenzana. I said they're denying, so can you kindly check? And he did, and he texted back and said, I think I got the wrong info. And I told him, please check again with the POP. And so he sent me a report of the POP. And I sent you, Carmina, I don't know if you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
A log which says that the relief goods were ferried to Catanduanes from Legazpi City. In other words, the information with respect to her riding the C-130 is obviously inaccurate because it's the relief goods that were brought there. That is precisely why immediately after learning that I have a show at DCRJ TV, I immediately expressed my apology to her for expressing an opinion relative to an information which happened to be inaccurate. But I said, if it's really true, because of the lack that the goods were ferried to Legazpi care of BP Robredo, it means that it is not true that we do not welcome BP Lenny. In other words, my critical narrative was on the basis of her camp has been criticizing the president for not doing her work, and then highlighting her distributing of relief goods. You cannot be saying that the president is not doing something and then you're doing something. You make it appear that the president and the administration are remiss of their duties.
Let's get into that right now, Mr. Secretary. I want to clarify this with you because I want to be sure if these are exactly your words. Are these your words,
Yes.
Secretary Sal? Akala ko naman nagpunta ka doon on your own. Yun naman pala, sumakay ka sa eroplano ng pamahalaan at sumabay ka sa relief goods. E di parang ang dating tuloy, ikaw may dala doon. Ikaw talaga, VP Lenny. First of all, were those your words, Secretary?
Yes, precisely. I was explaining to you why I said that.
But why impute malice?
Wait a minute. I was expressing an opinion on the basis of what I read in that exchange of text messages. You get the point? The information did not come from me. I was only reacting on that information.
Pero
that is why I apologize for her for reacting on the wrong info.
But shouldn't the reaction have been?
I'm not apologizing for distributing or peddling a false info, because I was only expressing a reaction on the basis of that info that I thought was correct. But it turns out now it's only half correct.
So are you going to be more circumspect now before issuing such statements, Secretary?
You must remember, Carmina, that the presumption of regularity applies to all government officials. Now, I received a message coming from a government official in an exchange of that. So the presumption there was regularity in it, that the information was checked. But what is important is that on the basis of a correction made by that source, I made immediately an apology. Yan ang mahalaga. Hindi kagaya nila, kahit na mali, never sila nag-apologize. Ako pag nakita kong mali, di mag-apologize na. But I'm not apologizing for criticizing her demeanor that every time she goes out distributing relief goods and then castigating the government for not doing anything.
Can you cite me an example? A direct quote coming from the VP that she has castigated this government.
I do not remember all his exact words. All you have to do is to go back to her press statements and Twitters. You must remember another thing, Carmina. You must remember that the spokesman, he speaks for the principal. And that spokesman has been very critical of the administration and even joined the so-called "Where are you, Mr. President?" and even the children. But let us not include the children. Only the spokesman. The spokesman speaks for the principal. She has not disputed the statement of the principal castigating this administration. Necessarily, the statement of the spokesman is the statement of the principal.
But so this is the point where I throw it back at you, because this is what you always say, that this is part and parcel of a robust democracy. So now that there are criticisms coming from the side of the VP, isn't that still part of a robust democracy, Mr. Secretary?
Yes, it is precisely. That's why I apologize, because I reacted on the wrong info. That's also part of democracy.
Okay, I don't want to belabor the issue. You said you issued an apology. I don't know if the Vice President or her office has actually heard that that apology.
No.
That's between the two of you. I want to go back. I want to go forward now and ask you about what happened last night.
Wait a minute. With respect to the apology, I made the apology yesterday in my show, and I repeated that because I was asked if I was asking an apology in DZRH. I also repeated that, and in addition, I personally texted my apology to VP Lenny and explained to her the circumstances under which I made a comment, and at the same time sent her a photograph, a screenshot of the log, which I sent you.
Yeah. When did you text the Vice President?
I think an hour ago.
Okay, so that was
Less than an hour.
Yeah, after she had made the press conference.
Well, I don't know. Oh, did she make a press conference?
Yeah, she did. She went on.
No, I didn't know about the press conference. Yeah. I was only reacting on the statement of the spokesman with respect. And I saw her in your program or earlier about she calling me out.
Yes. So that was it. That was the Facebook Live. That was the press conference. Maybe she got your text after she had went live. But let's move on, Mr. Secretary. You made yourself clear. Let's talk about what happened last night. The president spent the president spent the first 20 minutes of his address to the nation berating the vice president. Apparently, he thinks that it was the VP who started the hashtag Nasaan ang Pangulo. As presidential legal counsel, are you not concerned that he is basing his statements to the nation at that on false information?
What is false information? That
she was the one who started it, that she has been looking for him.
Well, I think what the president meant is that she was using the hashtag "Where are you" as espoused by the spokesperson. As I said, if the spokesperson speaks in behalf of a principal, then the principal is the one speaking through him. Since he did not dispute that, then it stands to reason that that is the position of the vice president. Especially because, Carmina, if I were the vice president, even if you are a political enemy of mine, and then there is a hashtag in criticizing the president, and I knew for a fact that the president on that morning was attending a summit, and of course she knew that, I would have said something about, don't criticize him for that because he's doing his work there in Malacanang at this time. He is in the summit. Hindi ba? Dapat give credit where credit is due also.
And would you credit the vice president for all the hard work that she's been putting in as well?
My goodness, Carmina, if you're listening to my show every day, I always credit her. fact, I said that. I repeatedly said in my program, you're doing a good work. Okay lang yan, tuloy mo yan. Ang ayaw ko lang, yung parang pag gumagawa ka, meron ka ng parinig na ganito, ganyan. Parang pinalalaws mo, wala nagtatrabaho. Yan ang ayaw. But yung gawin mo yan, maganda yung ginagawa.
Okay, finally, because we're running out of time and I do want to get this in, there was a portion in the President's address last night, Mr. Secretary, when he said to the Vice President, next time, count your marbles first before you play. Secretary, what do you say to the observation that at least the VP has marbles to count, whereas the President seemed to have lost his when he addressed the public last night?
First, I don't know what marbles mean. What do you mean by marbles?
Meron kasing hashtag din, nasiraan na ang Pangulo, that only translates to the President has gone crazy. He's lost his marbles.
Hindi ko naintindihan yun. I'm sorry, I cannot respond to what I have read or understood.
Okay, so let me put it simply. What do you say to the observation after the rant last night that the President has gone crazy? That's been the tweet, as the hashtag as well. Hindi na lang po nasaan ang Pangulo, meron na ring tweet na or hashtag na nasiraan na ang Pangulo, Mr. Secretary.
Yun ang hashtags ng saan? Ng social media?
Yes.
Sabi mo nga this is democracy, o di pabayaan mo sila kung yan ang gusto nila. But we have the right to respond to it.
And your response is?
You must remember that the President has been working. Kitang-kita naman ng ebidensya. And in fact, the rating shows 91% naniniwala sa kanya. Yun lang, ibibigay ko sa yung response mo. Kahit anong gawin nilang pamumulitika o pagpupuna, wala. Ito, sinasabi ng tao, nakikita nila yung trabaho.
Okay, let's.
So yan po ang paliwanag ni Secretary Panelo pahinggil doon sa na-issue niyang statement na and may free riding nga itong si Vice President Robredo paukol doon sa relief goods ng administration na pinamigay doon sa mga ilang lugar sa Pilipinas. Sabi, so gumamit siya ng C-130 na hindi naman totoo kasi base lang pala yung statement binasa ni Panelo doon sa mga exchange messages niya with may position din sa gobyerno. Kaya lesson learned next time around, kung hindi mo nakita na sumakay mismo doon yung tao para sa isang bagay, sa isang layunin, please don't jump up into conclusion or into giving out statements kasi agka-create lang yan ng chaos imbis na susolusyonan yung problema sa bansa, madadagdagan pa ang problema at marami pang kakaharapin itong mga officials ng government sa Pilipinas. Kaya yan po, ingat-ingat po next time, Secretary Panelo, if you are not so sure about certain things, please don't release any statement since ikaw yung secretary ng presidente. Ang mangyayari, syempre, lalabas yung mga bashers at yung mga pro-vice president at pro-president. Aabot yan sa gitna at mag-aawayan yan sila. Syempre, nandun yung social media at yun ang ginagamit nila to express their feelings. So, yan po ang pinaka-latest hinggil dyan sa panawagan ni Vice President Robredo doon nga sa peddlers ng fake news at ang nangyari ay si Secretary Panelo pala yung nagpalabas ng mga message na ganyan. So yes guys, kung hindi mo pa na-subscribe ang aking channel, subscribe mo na. I will see you on my next, and yes, if you are not a subscriber, yes of course, tap the bell for you to be updated kung ano yung ating ilalabas na news dito sa ating channel. Please leave comments po sa comment section kung ano pa yung gusto nyong i-improve natin sa ating channel at kung ano pang tatalakay natin in the next issue or in the next upload. Na-appreciate ko ang pagpapanood nyo sa akin. Thank you for watching my videos, and see you in my next. Bye. Mabuhay ka, Pilipino!
Hellcat.